What is up, y'all? Welcome again to another day of Miracle March. And Miracle March, if this is your first time joining us, Miracle March is an intentional month where we are transforming minds by influencing, motivating, and coaching aspiring entrepreneurs while empowering them to have a successful business, empowering them to with tools to succeed in different walks of life, and almost the clarity that we've been getting from people coming on here, and I've been able to guide them through stuff, has been super empowering. And right now we're on day 22, and we just literally flew back from New York, and so we're back in Georgia, and it's been a tremendous visit. Hung out with my son, hung out with my parents. That's my old stomping grounds. When I moved from the US, that's where we were, New York. And now we're in Georgia and Tennessee. And so super excited to be here again. And today we have a pretty amazing guest with us on today's show. We have Allie. Allie, how are you? Where you at, Allie? There you go.
There we
How you
go.
doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Kessa, I'm so happy to be here. I love following what you're up to, and it's always great to be whatever you're on. It's always a good time.
Thank you for trusting me in being here and um trusting this crazy guy, right? Like who has these sometimes crazy opinions and perspectives. And what would you say is like the thing that makes you relate the most to the things that I share?
I don't feel like you compartmentalize anybody. You kind of let it. You hear where people are at, and meet them there, and sort of then show them your way. I've been kind of watching self improvement things for a while, and you catch somebody resonating here and there, but I find that a lot of things that you say resonate with me, regardless of who else I'm listening to. I feel like just way you put it through, the way you articulate points, I just get them. They come through, if you know what I mean.
Oh
Um,
man.
and so yeah, so yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for that and allowing me to know. Getting feedback on the things that work is very empowering for me so that I could continue to do that to reach more people, because my
Mhm.
goal is to serve at least 40,000 people by 2028. That's my goal. And so I got a ways to go, and it's only through people like yourself and others who listen and share the link and all of that would I be able to achieve that goal.
Mm.
So tell me, I had a session on the Daily Dial one day, and I'm like, I want to help 30 people in the month of March every single day, and you were able to get number 22.
I got right on there. I was I watched. I was telling Betsy before. I watch Daily Dials. I'm not on there every single day, but I really
Sure.
try to be there on the days that you're on there. I feel like uh, you got to get the mindset right for
Yeah.
everything else to work to flow properly. Um, so I got that. I was on. I had that on my computer, and I had my cell phone here, and I was able to get the link over to here. And I was like, boom, I'm in. And I was like, I had a choice. I could have gone earlier in the month. I was like, let me do 22nd. That's kind of like that's my birthday day. So I said, let me pick a purposeful number.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
yeah, I
That's
kind of
awesome.
wish I did it earlier, but it's all good. It's perfect. Doesn't matter. It's working out.
What were you going through earlier that you wish you did it earlier?
No, I just in general, like if I'm trying to improve myself, I should have tried to improve myself 3 weeks ago rather than today. But
Got it.
I'm, you
Well,
know,
we're here. We're here.
right.
So
Cool.
you said you could have improved yourself 3 weeks ago. What do
Mm,
you think you need to work on right now that would
Um,
constitute that?
I'm not. I'm not even saying. What do I mean to say here? Um, there's always room for improvement.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, but I have to say, the past even 6 weeks have been pretty good. I've been, you know, working out every morning, and by working out, I mean getting up early, seeing some air, fresh air, walking. Nothing crazy.
Hmm.
Um, doing a little, getting some meditations in, and making calls. I'm part of a team. Things are pretty good. I'm not, not that they can't be better,
Yeah.
um, but I don't know. I feel like you would tweak this, or be able to. Hey, did you think about this? Hey, did you try this or something? With some of the other things that I'm still working on. Um, did that
So let's
answer your question? I think I did. I think that made
Yeah,
sense.
no, that's perfectly fine. So
Mhm,
let's start with your vision for what you see yourself as,
mhm,
right? Like
mhm,
what's that vision story do you have for yourself? Who are you? Like
mm.
what does that look like?
You know, it, just like everything else, this is an evolving thing, right?
Sure.
I I um, I need to be, for my family and for myself. I need to be a successful business person. Um, and how does that look? I want to be a real estate investor. I think that's the best. I think that's the best way to go. And
Mhm.
I know that because I see the mistakes that I made in the past. Had I done a couple of things different, and I know anybody could do that. I realize that, but in specifically with real estate, all it would take would be another phone, another conversation, and things could be super different. Like, had a struggle with a property, I had to sell it, but had I just opened up my mind to partnering or something, or these other options that exist, I could have we could have been partnered. I could have been partnered with somebody, and I know people back then that would have
Mhm.
done it with me. I just didn't think of it. I just didn't open my mind to the other things that were out there. I think I tried to be super do it myself to my detriment, and I know that for sure.
Mhm.
Um, I um, even not even real estate related, but like, back in my old days, I people who had teamed up, people who had partners and worked with people, are better off because they had another perspective instead of just one person's. And you can't know enough to
Yeah.
be to do it by yourself. So um, the past couple of years, several years, have been really, educational that way. And specifically with subject to the sub two group, I know that teaming up is the only way to do it, because I've been trying to do it myself, and it's a little tiny success, and then it's so hard to keep that going. Where if you just get together with some other teammates, we all work together to get through those other steps. One thing to get the deal, but then there's all those other pieces that have to be put in place.
Mhm.
So um, the idea of not being by myself is just feels so much better. It's just so much better these days.
Yeah, and
Um,
you get to bounce ideas and thoughts off of other
yeah,
people as well, right?
yes,
Um, because we're all built and designed to think a certain way. And my business coach helped me to realize this, where we're designed to naturally think and operate a certain way, but we modify the way that we communicate to think based on trying to do it all ourselves.
Mhm.
So a team, a powerful team, is a group of people who understands their position and what their superpowers are, how they're built. It's the right person in the right seat, and in knowing and understanding that, you could all complement each other really, really, really well. And so, in saying that, what seat do you think you sit in, and what is your superpower, do you believe?
Mm. You know, I feel like when I'm able to communicate with somebody on a one-on-one, um, that's a good place for me. I'm a little older than you. I've had a little bit more life experience. I've been through some of the same things that some of these people on the other end of the phone have are going through or have been through
Sure.
themselves, and I feel like that gives me a little bit of um, an ease in the flow of the conversation. So
Mhm.
that's great. And then the other part of it, I've really struggled with, like, okay, I have this deal, and now what? And then I reach out to the old Allie would reach out to these 3 or 4 people that I knew were buyers or whatever, and they'd be like, that those numbers don't work or whatever. And then I would have to go back and be like, oh, I'm sorry that that's not going to work or whatever. And then it's just my lack of enough people. So now I'm with a group. There's 4 of us, and so I know my 4 people, but I've been building up my people who buy,
Yeah.
and they all have 5 or 10 or 15 buyers. So it's like, all right, now we have a group of buyers, and it's not 4 people, it's 50 people that could are potential buyers. So um, all of that said is, now that we have a group, a team, it's just expanding and solidifying those places, right? Just the buyers, what they want, and find what they want. Where that's not how I approached it. I approached where I live. I approached who I knew. Like, it just with the end in mind first, it works better. And I'm glad to be doing it this way now.
So, if
That
I'm
makes sense.
understanding you correctly, do you think your superpower is to connect with people, or what do you think your superpower is?
Um, yeah, I would say so. I would, yeah. Mm, yes, I would say that's part of my superpower. The other thing I think I could do is, I have a way of looking at a deal that I think is valuable too, right? Like, as far as the dispo, well, what about this? What about this? What about this?
Yep.
And so that came from struggling for a long time. So maybe that's what that was all about. That struggle was learning what I needed to learn.
Yeah. Gave you perspective. Now you have a
100%.
lot of experience in things that you could avoid, and so now you use that as a superpower, because now
Hmm.
you can share these perspectives. Like, oh, I've seen this before. We don't need to do that.
Right.
And that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, and so the reason why I'm wanting to know what these superpowers are is because I wanted to make sure that you're the right person in the right seat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're in the right seat, you flourish. You're excited. You get excited about what you're doing. If you're not the right person in the right seat, then you're stressed out. You're like, "Ugh, I gotta go do this thing," right? And you're a
Hmm.
little pissed off. And
Yeah.
so, do you which emotion do you feel like you have going in right now?
Um, hmm. I feel like I'm coming from a point of, I could help this person now. I have
Mhm.
a belief now that I didn't used to have. And part of it is because I know I'm confident as a buyer, not me, but
Yeah.
the people that I know that will buy. So many times I just didn't have the real wherewithal to get the deal completed or to get the sale done, right? So yeah, so now I feel like um I'm way better off as now, thinking about it now. um I don't know if it's exactly a superpower, but I think that I have much better perspective, as we said before, that, all of it, all of the past few years has given me this great perspective that I could use as part of my conversating. And
Yeah.
um,
What's your goal, Allie?
I want to have a successful business where I'm able to help with my family and be free to not be stressed about finances for them
Hmm.
coming up. I want to share the real estate entrepreneurial track, as hard as it is,
Hmm.
because I know that the office is not for everybody. The corporate thing is not for everybody. Um, I Yeah, that's those are my goals. I want to get some really good deal flow going where it's countable, where I can count on closing a few deals. I want some rentals. Um, yeah, I want to show everybody how to do it. Um,
How do you intend to get there?
to where the
To that
um
destination. So
so
you've,
the whole
yep. Go
yep.
ahead.
So the wholesaling thing, I'm on a team,
Hmm.
and for now, I'm making calls. I'm happy to make calls, get the seller as far along or the agent as far as along, and then hand it over and let it play out with the rest of the team that has their places.
Yep.
Um, I'm doing that half of my day, and the other day I'm trying to find deals for myself. I have
Yeah.
a partner that we're looking at a multi-unit on Friday. He and I together will we've spoken to the seller. We're moving along, but that would be a really cool deal if we could do that. That's not too far away from here. Um,
So you have your active income on the team,
yeah, right.
and then you're looking for passive income on your own,
Yes.
which I like that concept. I do
Hmm.
like that concept.
Hmm.
How much So what's your filter when you look for your properties in the passive income side? Like what type of properties are you looking for? What's that criteria?
Hmm. Um, I'm looking for multifamilies where I can either speak to the seller myself and have them help me get the financing in place, and that's what our
Mhm.
meeting is on Friday. We could get the money, but it's going to need some work. And if the seller, which he has already said, is going to remain on the in some manner, he'll be a second mortgage on the deal. Then we're going to be able to fix it up and refinance him in, I don't know, maybe 6 months, and he'll be out, and we'll own the property. It's a really good deal. Um, and I think we could really get it. I think we're pretty almost there.
Yeah.
Um, the guy that is my partner, he's getting the financing together. I brought the deal. Like, this is this is just what I want. Um, we're going to partner. We're going to be 50-50. He's going to help get the well, we may need some short term, but we're going to have the seller hold the note, and we'll get financing in place to pay most of it, right? To
Mhm.
cash him out, because it cash flows. Um, so I'm looking for those. That one an agent sent that to me. because she knows I'm looking for multifamily. But that's what I'm searching for myself. I'm looking through listings. I scroll through things, you know, Zillow.
What's your criteria for multifamily?
I want at least three units in a building. I don't know if that's where I start. I shouldn't even say that. Two would work too. But single family, I'm not even that crazy about. It's this one that we're looking at is a 25 unit in one house. But it's one roof, 1 yard, one tax bill, like all really good things about that. And I used to have some single family houses that were, and this goes back to the old days that, when somebody stopped paying, I still had to pay the mortgage. And it was like, so with the 25 unit, a couple people can pay, many people cannot pay, and we'd still be good.
Mhm.
So you asked me, like, what do I look for? And it's hard to quantify that exactly. I say, if you can get a duplex, and I'm in New Jersey, I'm kind of trying to keep these close to me.
Sure.
It's hard. A duplex may not work, but usually a triplex will cover the mortgage pretty easily, and bigger.
See,
That
so
used.
that's what I'm getting at, right?
Oh, okay.
Because when you know, like, you have that criteria, if it is that a duplex isn't going to get you the cash flow that you want, then why even look at it, right?
Hmm.
So a triplex would cover it and above.
Right.
So how much would you say you need to cash flow to have the freedom number that you'd like?
You mean like altogether? I would
Yep.
like
How much
probably
would you need a month?
probably $15,000 a month would
So
be.
15,000 a month. Um, I mean, that's good. That's really good.
Mhm.
How much? So this 25 unit, you
Yeah,
guys have underwritten it
yeah,
several times at this point.
right.
How much would you cash flow getting this deal?
Um, if we left it as is, which it could be actually left as is,
Mhm.
we don't want to, but it cash flows about $20,000 a month.
So about
Um,
20K a month.
yeah, yeah. This is my partner. We'd split it,
Sure.
and after we fix it up and we get some new financing in there, it'll be less, probably more like 15. It may even be less than that. But I'll be at least a third of the way, right? I'm being conservative. I'll definitely make 5,000 a month,
Yeah.
right? And that takes a lot of pressure off of a family. I'm sure
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Um,
So
not
here's
even,
here's here's my question to you.
yeah,
If it is that, like, okay, I'm working this one deal could
mm,
potentially get me a thirds halfway the way there, why go for something much smaller
mm,
that would require the same amount of work, the same amount of everything that you put into it? Why not make this your it doesn't make sense to go less than 25 units.
mm, yeah. I think you're not wrong. It's just it's unusual property for where I am. But I see what you're saying. Um, yeah, I see what you're saying. I would need to go further away from where I live, but that's okay. I don't need to be there. I won't need to be at this 25 unit. It's
Mhm.
close by, but there would definitely need to be some property management in place. Uh,
Yeah. And listen, I have a Airbnb. I'm
mhm,
in an Airbnb right now, and we own the property across the street as
mhm,
well, Airbnb.
mhm,
And many times things go wrong And I'm like, let's call the person that needs to take care of it versus me go over there myself. And the reason why is because when you continue to be the person that takes care of every call and all of that, it takes you away from a higher paying activity.
Mhm.
And so you want to be careful with you being the property manager and you always going over, and you like, you want to be super aware of that because it takes your time. It really does,
I
and it requires discipline. It requires
yeah,
a lot of discipline because
yeah.
if and when it is that you're able to get to that place of owning properties close by, but you have the right people lined up to take care of it, that's when you really start becoming a good manager,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? Versus
Yes.
you doing it alone. And so
Yeah.
I want to encourage you, even though this might be next door, it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Like, get used to hiring
Yeah.
property managers and people who could take care of things for you.
Mhm. Yeah. 100%. I had a 5 unit that just blew me out, like stressed me out to no end. I had to sell it. It was just too much because I
Yeah.
tried to do it myself. And even I tried to hire a property manager too, but it just didn't work. And
Could I
yeah,
share could I share a secret with you?
of course.
Property managers almost doesn't make sense until you start going for 75 units and above.
Mm,
And not that it doesn't make sense. That's the wrong terminology. Payroll to hire them
mhm,
really starts to flow at 75 units and above. And so, something to consider,
mhm,
because the smaller units, you don't get an institutionalized property management company. You get a mom and pop property management company that they probably don't have systems and all these
mhm,
things in place, that is just kind of like a hustle, right?
mhm,
Um, it's not until you get to that 75 and above range where you really start getting to that place of um, where things work out and things
mhm,
are pretty awesome. So, something to consider.
mhm,
I know right now we're at 25, and I want to push you to say, I
mhm,
wouldn't do anything. Matter of fact, we don't touch anything that we can't make $1 million in. Like, that $1 million math and upside is
mhm,
what we're looking for. So you talked about the properties that you're getting it and you could renovate it and probably bump the rents up. And so that delta in between is what we look for in in the ability to make $1 million.
mhm.
And that's going to be realized through the refinance,
Right.
right?
Yes.
So it might be a lesser cash flow, but once you get that money, you can now go out and invest it in something else, go buy more
Mhm,
real estate, go do something else with that
mhm.
money. And so it's a strategy, right?
Yep.
You have a plan, you have a strategy that you're able to implement, and this is what you really are trying to get.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I really do. And I think that's a great idea. I think also where I maybe wouldn't have believed that were possible for me, a 75 unit. I know because it's just me. What am I going to do? I know now that that's not true. If I could find a good property, there's going to be somebody there that I'm going to keep asking until I find somebody to help me. Whereas,
Mhm.
and I know there will be somebody there. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, I have a friend who has some Airbnbs that were, you know, the same guy we were going to buy. We still may, but
Yeah.
they're like it was same. They're an hour away or so, um, but we're able to take them over with some good financing from the seller. Um, but after this 25 unit came up, I was like, what are we even? Why are we even doing these Airbnbs? Like, we would need to buy like 9 of them or 10 of them, and that would be 10 separate houses. That would be 10 separate cleaning. You know,
Isn't that crazy?
yeah, yeah. I'm not trying to say no to that money,
Yeah.
that possibility, because I kind of need it in it right now. Um, but yeah, I'm totally understanding the scale of this, the the nature of the building size and or the
See,
deal size, I guess.
I may have a different perspective on this, and it may not be popular, and it's okay with that.
Hmm.
I'm okay with that.
Hmm.
I am tired of people doing things out of need. I think when you
Hmm.
do things out of need,
Hmm.
you get desperate and you make decisions that doesn't serve you long term.
Hmm.
And so doing the smaller deals could help you for now. It sure can. And you could focus your time on that, and you get a little bit and you're like, ah, this tastes good. It feels good. Like, okay, we just got $500 with, but then it's the same amount of work, it's the same amount of stress, it's the same amount of learning curve, it's the same amount of systems
Hmm.
that if you had put in that towards the long-term goal of this 25 unit, this solves a greater, it fulfills your need, but it also does a lot more than that, because now you're able to have bandwidth to be able to help others and bring others up as well. And
Hmm.
so they both fulfill a need, one just goes a lot further,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
so being blinded by needing to, like, oh, I just want to fulfill this need right now. um yeah, we could do that,
Hmm.
but delayed gratification in, like, it took you 3 more months to close the apartment deal that now serves you way better,
Hmm.
way more cash flow,
Right.
way more everything. Your belief, your everything is just like through the roof.
Right.
I'm more of a let's go big. Let's
Right.
just
I got you. I hear what you're saying. Um, yeah, yeah. You're not wrong. I don't think. I think you're probably right. We'll see how it plays out. This is these Airbnbs. They're falling on our lap. Like, how do we not buy them? I don't know.
hey, if not, if it's falling on your lap, that's different than you
Yeah,
like grinding and trying to figure out, like, if they're falling on your lap, hey, please be wise, be an entrepreneur, and
yeah,
get it solved. But if it's a distraction,
yeah. I hear what you're saying. You're right. I hear what you're saying. It's been a distraction. I've been working on them for 2 years, and now the guy has a number of them, and he's trying to. He needs cash, so my friend and I are gonna partner with this guy. We're gonna do a cash out refi. He's gonna get some cash. We're all gonna take a little bit of money, and then we're gonna. The plan is, it shouldn't be that crazy of stress because they're already operating.
mhm.
Um, I guess it's kind of famous last words, right? Well, we didn't sign up. We didn't think it was going to be so crazy. Um, but um,
Who's going to be operating them?
he has they're already operating. They're already functioning. He has a team out there. Um,
And the team comes with the property?
yeah, yeah. They're already some of them, many of them are already, they're already on the Airbnb listing. They already have their own websites and things. They're functioning.
Amazing.
Um, yeah.
Hey,
But then
so
there are some that are going to need, like a big rehab. Um,
mhm.
and that will be what, that'll be a team effort to see that through. So
Yeah.
those are not going to be hands off. Um, so the plan is maybe we'll fix them up and get rid of those. Just sell those to somebody who wants to do the Airbnb out
Sure.
there, and we'll
Sure.
just leave the whatever are whatever ones are functioning and okay. Um, but yeah, it's sort of how I got stuck with my property a few years ago, and I needed to make some changes on the property, but I didn't have enough money, and I had two tenants that stopped paying me. It was just a shit show at the time, so I wound up having to sell it. Whereas this guy is in the same position as I was,
Hmm.
and rather than doing what I did, hit the bid, he is gonna we're gonna he's gonna remain he's gonna keep it, 33% of his, or 34 will be of his property, and we're gonna move forward. That's the plan. That's
It's
most like
awesome.
that's where we're at. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's and I I need to make some money.
Yeah.
Last year was not a great year for me,
Sure.
so um, bills have to be paid, and my daughter's in college. We need it. So yeah, that's probably how we'll move forward there.
So I think you have a good plan. I
Mhm.
think being that this is falling on your lap and this systems are in place
Yeah.
and all of that, I think absolutely, because it doesn't, while the construction of doing some that I'm sure you're gonna find people to do
Mhm.
is gonna be, so now you're gonna be project managing those while still working on the 20 unit property. I think it's a good plan for
Mhm.
you.
Mhm.
And so what I would want you to do is to just be super clear with the who's that's going to do these things for you so that you could remain as hands off and use your brain space to delegate and to think more than pick up a hammer yourself, right? I
Mhm.
don't want
Yeah.
you doing that.
Right. Yes.
Um, so that would be your homework. Like,
Yeah.
find the people that you're going to need to be able to execute on
Mhm.
these deals
Mhm.
so that you could still remain at a very high place of performance, and you're still on the team also, for your active income, which is
Yeah.
very good.
Right.
So any final questions as we wrap up?
I just um no, not really.
You seem like you got one.
No, I don't. I just don't want. I didn't. The deals are not falling on my lap. I didn't want to make it sound like that. We have been working them for 2 years, but now we're finally at the end. Is what I meant to
Yeah,
say. I think
yeah.
maybe that's what I meant. Um, we've really been
You've
dragging
worked
this.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
you've worked it.
yeah, yeah. Um,
Follow up, man. That's impeccable following up. Impeccable for 2 years. I would love to celebrate with you when you close on.
it was more because the guy, he had them. They were the different properties were tangled in different loans and in
Mm,
different stages of pre-foreclosure. It was like things had to be moved and taken out of different loan products or something. It was just messy.
yeah.
But we're in the process now, which is good. Um,
Awesome.
yeah. Um,
Awesome.
yeah. I appreciate it so much. I always appreciate what you've got to say to everybody, and I think whatever you say to me may help somebody else also, and that's how I find it works with the sub to miracle, morning calls. There's
Yeah.
always something to listen to.
100%. Thank you so much, Ali, for
Yeah.
joining me. I appreciate it. And any final words before we wrap up?
Just thank you. Thanks for what you do, and I think you're a great role model for everybody in sub two, the younger people. I'm older, and I think you're awesome. But for younger people to have you to look up to, I think is a really great for them.
Thank you so
You
much,
I think you've
Ali.
got a good heart, and I think that's everybody could see that.
I appreciate that.
Sure.
Um, Thank you so much for being here, for trusting me, for coming on here so that we
Of
could
course.
talk through some of the things that you have.
Mhm.
Um, and so, guys, today was another amazing, amazing, amazing session where I spoke to Ali and kind of talked through from her superpowers and the things that she's good at, because knowing if you're the right person in the right seat is always super important to the deals that she's looking at, and how does this compound to her goal of freedom. And we've been able to talk through some things, give some more clarity on the direction, making sure she has the right people in place, the right who's in place, so that it doesn't take her away from creating opportunities in her business. And it's super important because growing up we've been taught to do it ourselves, right? And it's important to know that you don't have to. If you want to be able to get a level of wealth and not more jobs, it's super important to hire someone else to do the job for you. And so, tremendous day here today on Miracle March. Tomorrow we'll be back for day 23. Day 23, guys. We're almost at the end, and it's not that giving stops at all. I want you to take what we're doing and go start giving yourself. Start now. Start sharing and giving. Give more than you imagine you could give right now, because this is the heart of the Miracle March. Like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, guys. Share the link. Let people know what's going on. Let it become a trend. Let it become something that you're super happy to be a part of in giving, because when you give, you naturally receive. It's a part of the laws of the universe. And so I thank you for joining me once again. I'm signing out. Have a peaceful and blessed rest of your day. Catch you tomorrow. Peace.